Dandelion Song. So I wanted to bring you another bit out of this book, Pi in the English Alphabet. I'll try to leave links below these so that you can buy this book if you want. We've been talking a lot about 816 and 618 and phi and Philadelphia and phi squared. So I thought that I should show you what was written in this book about this. It seems like the Freemasons worship pi and they also worship phi. So you can get a lot more information on the internet. But in short, the proportion is expressed in the human body from the bottom of your feet to your navel equals 1. The navel to the top of your head equals 0.618, making you, the complete man, approximately 1.618. So it's a little curious to me then that 816 is the bride of Christ, but maybe one is male and one is female. I'm not sure. Divine male or divine female. Okay. If you're Christian, don't think that I'm worshiping this. I'm just discovering this. So we can go along together and discover this and try to understand what they're talking about. A 5 or a 5-sided star pentagram encodes this ratio. The length of the longer segment of the star is 1 and the smaller segment is 0.618. The pentagram is widely used in Christianity, Wiccan, and pagan religions, and is one that, when inverted, has been associated, wrongly or not, with the devil or evil. The pentagram is one of the easiest geometric symbols to draw. Okay. That shows you your phi on your hand, on each of your hands, and we just saw the alphabet in the, one of the back to the books of this book. We saw that each of your hands is not only 5, but it's also the alphabet. And there's an achromatic cipher where you can break up the alphabet into lines of 5. And that's also something that's used by the Illuminati. So we have 108 degrees here. That's an important spiritual number. And we have these ratios in there. But one thing I also wanted to show you was down here that phi is this part of the number line, the 16 and the 18 if you take the 17 out. So this is the P, Q, and the R. So there must be some symbolism in here about removing the Q. And I also believe that this letter phi, having to do with oneness, and I'm not sure if oneness is the right interpretation of this, but when they were completing the Freedom Tower, this was the symbol that they used to talk about the one world Freedom Tower. And when in Paris, with the solar man that I found there, who's 1.01 miles tall, his brain appears to be severed in half in this manner. And also in the movie I Pet Goat 2, behind the president's wall, on the schoolroom wall, there's a severed brain like this. And so sometimes I think of this as, a natural and fantastic number, but it can also be seen that the Illuminati uses it in a bit of a malevolent or a threatening way. We also saw a malevolent or threatening interpretation of it in Mad Max, which is a 9/11 title movie. Interesting part of this is that these are the only two boxes, I guess, in which the area and perimeter are equal. A 4x4 square equaling 16. If one makes a rectangle of 3 times 6 equaling 18, each one of these shapes will have a perimeter equal to its area, and there are no other natural numbers with this property. So that's another interesting thing about phi. I'm not sure what that means symbolically. Okay, so here they're going to talk about 17, so I'm going to read this. The Platonists regard this as a sign of their peculiar properties, and Plutarch notes it when writing that the Pythagoreans considered 17 utterly abominate because it separates the 16 and the 18 and barred them from each other and disjoins them. The Arab alchemist Jabir, known as Geber, in contrast to the Pythagoreans, believed 17 to be the numerical basis of the physical world. We will be exploring the number 17, the bridge between 16 and 18, further in this series, so that should be interesting. Okay, the golden proportion, or the number 1.618, can also be found hiding within the Fibonacci sequence. The Fibonacci sequence was discovered in the 13th century by the French mathematician Leonardo of Pisa, also known as Leonardo Fibonacci. So the sequence was originally formed to calculate how rabbits multiply when they mate. The series grows, accruing terms that come from within itself, taking nothing from the outside to the outside the sequence of growth. This pattern spirals as it grows to fruition. The spiral pattern is evident all throughout nature. Tornadoes, sunflowers, ocean waves, and pine cones all form the fundamental sequence, unless they're hybrid. I've noticed this with trees. When you have a hybridized tree or a hybridized tomato, it no longer grows according to the Fibonacci. And it's not as good for you when you eat it either. From the term 0, the Fibonacci sequence grows by simple addition, shown on the next page. In order to find the golden ratio, all one needs to do is take a number that occurs late in the Fibonacci sequence and divide it by its predecessor. For example, the 12th in the series, which also has a placement code of 12, divided by 89, the one before it, which would be the 11 placement code, is 1.618. All right, well, that's where I'm going to stop on that. But it is interesting. That is something to know about natural Fibonacci and unnatural plants. For example, like when you have a fruit tree that's grafted or just hybridized and it grows, you know that you have to prune it, because if you just let it grow, it's going to grow in an ugly way. Natural trees don't grow in ugly ways, and they don't need to be pruned. And they're beautiful to look at. And they're actually healing to look at if you look at a natural tree that has perfect fractals in it. All right, thanks for listening. Talk to you later.